Brothers and sister targeted victims. My name is Sherry Fatu Bashra, and I have been targeted more than 12 years. I have been targeted in plain sight for everyone to see. And as I was sitting here today and my body is breaking down, I can barely walk now, but I asked myself, do we owe our bodies and our minds, do we owe loyalty to a government that would treat our bodies like cannon fodder? Do we owe them anything? Do we owe them to follow their laws, to follow their subjugation, and pretend that we are not under the yoke, that we are not dying? Do we owe our government anything? I asked myself as I limped to the bathroom. I asked myself as I tried to lay down and I was in pain. I asked myself this as I had a massive headache. I asked myself more and more days when I started to stutter. I can't talk plainly. What do we owe? What have we ever owed to a government that would subjugate us in a manner of using electronic torture to not only to disable our brains, our minds, our minds, hearts, even paralyzing us and striking us to death? What do we owe to a government like that? Why do we have to keep silent? Why are we called the crazy lady? Why do they call me the crazy lady? Why? I don't understand why in the world people would rather believe a lie than know the truth. But I ask you, brothers and sisters, target victims, I want you to look around you. And I want you to look around you and how much the tide is changing. A pandemic is ensue. Now bird flu is added to that pandemic. But also, no, global warming is happening. Unfair, unequal access to housing and healthcare because we're supposed to be crazy, lady. So we do often, I know for me, while I'm enduring this type of torture, there's nothing I can do. I can barely get out of my bed. And I ask myself, as these issues mount, do we owe anything to our governments? Or should we be out walking to our governors, even to our governor's mansion, walking to our governors, our senators, our president, our representatives, even marching on the Capitol and say, no longer we will not be subjugated in this manner. The tide is changing in this life. Injustice of all are mounting. We will not be subjugated or held or bound like this forever. Because I'm going to tell you something, and I had brothers and sisters to targeted victims is that, and I'm going to tell to you plainly, is that my first question is that as all these things are mounting, global warming, pandemic, do you think you have a seat on the bus? When the tide comes, tide is rising. Do you think you have a seat? Do you think you have a seat on a ship, or a seat on a bus, or a seat on a plane, or a seat anywhere? Do you think if you think you know and guarantee, more likely we don't. So do you think we owe our government loyalty? Do you think we owe our government's loyalty? Or should we be arming ourselves, marching to capitals, marching on them like never before to exercise our sacred rights and God-given right to live and to prosper? God said, I have come for them to have a life abundantly. How many of you, I have known torture for more than 12 years. This started when I started when I was 29. I am 42 now. My childbearing years have been gone, taken from me. My years to have success. My years to even have used my nursing skills. But not just that. To have my own family, to have my own house, to have everything that was supposed to be granted to me under the Constitution. I ask you, brothers and sisters, who targeted victims and more, do we owe our government loyalty? Do we owe our government loyalty, or should we be calling them out like never before? Should we be having advertisement posters everywhere? Should we have electronic advertising posted on the biggest billboard right in front of the U.S. Right in front of the White House itself, so we will no longer be subjugated in this manner. I know, and give them an active time to do, or we will take up arms against them. I wonder if we should do that, and that comes on my mind all the time. Do they have a right to subjugate us in this manner? They have taken up arms against us, damaged our bodies, irreparable damage to our bodies, our minds, our hearts. What should we do? I'm not trying to use this video to propagate violence or perpetuate violence, but I ask you, as you have asked yourself, brothers and sisters, and I know you have, because I have too. What do we owe our government? Do we owe them our brains, our bodies, even our souls? To give up for what? It seems that they have taken all that we are and forgot that we were U.S. citizens. Who took my rights? Who woke up one morning and said that I will never have a human right I will never be given the human rights as my counterparts, that I will never be given the human rights as the other individuals that dwell in America? That even under the Constitution, that I have no rights, that I should be sexually abused by this, yes, mentally, physically, sexually abused and tortured by the devices set forth by a government that should not have, power that they should not have, and that they will never be held accountable for, because they are the men that hold the power. I ask you, brothers and sisters, what? This Goliath, how do we master this Goliath? Not only how we master him, how do we bring him down and shoot him dead as David did to his Goliath? Please, God, help us. And I remember this, and everyone said, believes, this is excuse me, I apologize. And I'm sorry, I can't say more anymore. Ecclesiastes. It says, the race does not go to the swift or the strong or the most powerful. The one who I know, and the one who is just strong, but it goes to the one who endures at the end. But not only that, is that, and I want to add just a side note to that. It goes to the ones who are right and stand up for their freedoms as God has given to them, and exercise the sacred right that God has given to them for life. I know someone wrote me and said it is a right for you to exercise your sacred right to live and to fight back for those people who are trying to take your life. It is a not only a right, it's It's something that is built inside of you, that is ordered to you by God to defend yourself and fight back by any means necessary. And again, I am asking you these questions. I am not telling you what to do because I don't know what to do myself. I have contacted my congressman. I have contacted my governor. I have even wrote the president himself, not this new president, but the old. But at the same time, brothers and sisters, I think we must come together in some forum. In March, I think we are going to have to put those billboards up. Try to collect money to put those billboards up. Again, it said electronic torture equals murder. Electronic torture is death. Electronic torture is subjugation over people who do not deserve it. We were targeted victims for no long. We were targeted victims will not stay quiet any longer. The tide is rising, brothers and sisters. And I don't know if we will weather that tide, but we must come together in some type of forum to fight as all the masses are fighting now to exercise their freedoms and justice to live. I don't know what to do. I know there are organizations but I would like to be able to ask the head of these organizations if I could at least write them a letter or if they could write me a letter on some theories that they have about us coming together, coming together, collecting funds. And I don't know, I know that there are a couple lawyers among us. Can we stand together and actually, I would like to go and take into actually sue the federal government, the CIA, and though the NSA or whoever that needs to be sued to exercise our secret rights and to take back our freedom to live. So forgive me if this sounds ludicrous or even but I have no reason. I cannot apologize. This is what I feel. And please help me, help all of us. God bless. Take care.